The desert town of Fallon, Nevada was quiet that evening. The sun was low, and the sky turned red and gold. People were closing their shops, kids were playing outside before dinner, and the streets were calm. Lisa Carter, a 29-year-old nurse, was walking home from work. She had finished a long shift at the local clinic. Her shoes were dusty, her bag heavy, but her eyes kept lifting to the strange light in the sky. At first, she thought it was an airplane, but it didn't move like one. It floated, bright and silent, almost like a star that was too close. Lisa frowned. Something about that light felt wrong. Down the street, Ethan Miller, a 6-year-old boy with curly brown hair, was playing with his ball. His mother had told him not to run too far, but children forget rules when they play. Ethan bounced the ball too hard, and it rolled across the road. Without thinking, he ran after it. At the same time, a black SUV came speeding down the road. The driver wasn't paying attention. His phone lit up on the seat, and his eyes weren't on the street. The vehicle rushed forward, headlights glowing. Lisa froze for half a second. Her heart pounded. The boy was in the middle of the road, and the car was only seconds away. She dropped her bag and ran. Her shoe slapped against the pavement as she pushed herself faster. The driver didn't slow down. The boy looked up and saw the car, his little body frozen in fear. He couldn't move. Lisa lunged. She pushed Ethan with all her strength. The boy rolled to the side of the road, scraping his elbow but safe. Lisa had no time left to escape. The black SUV came closer, too close. But before the metal hit her body, something impossible happened. A blinding blue light burst from the sky. It wrapped around Lisa like a storm of energy. Her body lifted from the ground, weightless, glowing in the strange circle of light. The SUV passed right through the spot where she had been standing. The driver hit the brakes, swerving, confused, and terrified. But Lisa was no longer there. She had vanished. The street was filled with silence. The only sound was Ethan's crying. People rushed from their homes and shops. They gathered in the street, staring at the glowing mark on the asphalt. It was a perfect circle, blackened like it had been burned. In the middle of that circle, Lisa was gone. Ethan clung to his mother, pointing to the sky. His small voice shook as he cried out. "She saved me, she saved me. A light took her away." The crowd murmured. Some people whispered that it was an accident. Some said it was God. Others pointed at the sky, remembering stories of Area 51 and the secret base hidden in the Nevada desert. The strange light in the sky was gone now, leaving only darkness. The sheriff, Daniel Brooks, arrived minutes later. He had seen many accidents in his 20 years of work, but never anything like this. No body, no blood, no trace of a woman who had stood there just moments before. Only the circle burned into the road. He asked the boy questions, but Ethan repeated the same words again and again. "She saved me. The light took her. I saw something in it, a tall silver man." The sheriff wrote it down, but he didn't believe it. Or maybe he didn't want to believe it. News spread quickly. By nightfall, reporters stood on the street with cameras, telling the world about the nurse who gave her life to save a child. They called Lisa a hero. They showed pictures of her smiling face from the clinic. But none of them could explain what had happened to her. Scientists from a nearby university came to study the burned circle. They said it wasn't fire, and it wasn't chemicals. The material of the road itself had been changed, almost like it had melted from inside. Locals whispered about UFOs. They said the government would cover it up, just like they always did. And they were right. That same night, unmarked trucks rolled into Fallon. Men in dark suits set up barriers around the street. They told everyone it was a classified accident. Cameras were shut off. Reporters were pushed back. The circle was scraped up and taken away in containers. But no one forgot what they saw. The boy kept crying, telling his story over and over. Lisa had saved him. She had vanished in a light. And inside that light, he swore he saw someone not human. For the people of Fallon, it was the strangest night they had ever seen. For Ethan, it was the night that would haunt his dreams forever. And for Lisa Carter, it was only the beginning. The next morning, Fallon, Nevada did not feel like the same town. People walked the streets with worried faces. They whispered in low voices, afraid someone might be listening. Everyone was talking about only one thing: Lisa Carter, the woman who saved a child and then disappeared in a circle of blue light. The place where it happened was no longer open. Yellow tape stretched across the road. Strange black trucks blocked the view. Men in dark suits stood guard. They were not local police. They did not wear name tags. Their faces were hard and cold. When Sheriff Daniel Brooks tried to walk past the tape, one of the men stopped him. "Federal business," the man said firmly. "Step back, Sheriff. This is no longer your case." Daniel frowned. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and respected in Fallon. But now he felt powerless. He had lived here all his life. He knew every street, every family, every secret of this desert town. And yet, in a single night, outsiders had taken control. Daniel glanced at the ground behind the tape. The strange circle was still there. The asphalt was not just burned, it looked melted, like glass. He had never seen anything like it. Locals gathered outside the barrier. They whispered nervously. Some crossed themselves and muttered prayers. Others argued, shouting that the government knows more than they're telling us. In the middle of the crowd sat little Ethan Miller, the boy Lisa had saved. His mother hugged him close, but Ethan wouldn't stop trembling. He kept pointing at the sky, whispering the same words over and over. "The light took her. She saved me, and the light took her." When Daniel knelt beside him and asked what he saw, Ethan's voice dropped to a whisper. "There was someone inside it," he said. "A tall silver man." The sheriff wrote the words down, but his hands shook as he did. That afternoon, news reporters arrived in Fallon. Cameras rolled. Microphones crowded the sheriff's face. Was it an alien abduction? Where is the nurse's body? Is this connected to Area 51? Daniel answered nothing. He simply said, "The investigation is ongoing." But deep inside, he knew this was no ordinary case. By nightfall, the road was cleared. The burned circle was cut out in perfect squares, loaded onto trucks, and driven away. Witnesses who had recorded videos on their phones found men in suits knocking on their doors. The recordings were taken. Some people were warned not to talk. Others were threatened. By morning, almost all physical evidence was gone. But memories could not be erased. 3 days later, the people of Fallon held a candlelight vigil for Lisa. They stood outside the clinic where she worked, holding pictures of her smiling face. They prayed for her. They called her a hero. Ethan stood in the front row, holding a small candle. His mother wiped his tears, but he kept whispering, "She's not gone. She's still out there." The crowd grew silent when he said it. Many wanted to believe him. Sheriff Daniel, standing at the edge of the vigil, felt a chill run down his spine. That night, Daniel sat alone in his office, staring at the reports. Witnesses described the same thing: a blinding blue light, a humming sound, and Lisa vanishing without a trace. But the detail about the silver figure troubled him most. He poured himself coffee, but his hands would not stop shaking. When he looked out his office window, the desert sky was clear and endless. Stars burned bright. But then, above the dark mountains, he saw something that froze his breath. A blue glow. It was faint but moving, smooth and silent, unlike any plane he had ever seen. For a moment, it hovered, almost watching. Then, in a blink, it vanished. Daniel's stomach turned cold. He knew what he had seen. But if he reported it, who would believe him? Meanwhile, Ethan's nights grew restless. He woke from nightmares, crying about the silver man. He told his mother that Lisa was calling his name in his dreams, her hands reaching through a wall of glass. He described tall silver halls, glowing machines, and people sleeping inside clear tubes. His mother held him close and said, "It's just a dream." But fear burned in her eyes. How could her 6-year-old son imagine such things? Unless, he wasn't imagining. A week after Lisa vanished, Sheriff Daniel found an envelope on his desk. No stamp. No name. Inside was a photograph. It showed the desert sky, black and endless, with a streak of blue light crossing it like fire. At the bottom of the photo was a single handwritten note. "She is not dead. She has been taken." Daniel's hand tightened around the paper. He locked the photo in his drawer. Whoever sent it knew more than they should. And suddenly, the sheriff understood something. Lisa Carter's disappearance was not just an accident. Not just a mystery. It was the beginning of something much larger. Something far beyond the borders of his small desert town. And in the quiet darkness of the Nevada sky, something was still watching. Lisa Carter opened her eyes slowly. Her body felt heavy, as if she had been asleep for 100 years. At first, she thought she was in a hospital. The ceiling above her glowed with soft white light. Machines hummed quietly around her. But when her eyes focused, she realized this was no hospital. The walls were smooth silver, without seams or windows. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the edges, moving like living letters. The air was warm but carried a metallic taste. Lisa tried to sit up. Her wrists were strapped to the bed by glowing bands of light, not metal, not rope, but energy. She pulled hard, but they didn't break. Her breathing grew fast. Panic rose in her chest. She remembered the road, the boy, the car, the blinding blue light. And then nothing. "Where am I?" she whispered. A door slid open without a sound. Something tall stepped inside. It was shaped like a man but not human. Its skin was silver gray, smooth like polished stone. Its eyes glowed faint blue, without pupils. It wore no clothes, only a thin layer of light that wrapped around its body. Lisa froze. The being looked at her, head tilted, as if studying a rare insect. Then it spoke not with its mouth, but directly into her mind. "You were not chosen. But you interfered. Now you are here." Lisa's heart pounded. She tried to hide her fear with anger. "What do you want from me? Where am I?" The voice echoed again inside her head. "This place is between stars. A vessel. You call it a ship. We take what we need. We study. We prepare." Lisa's eyes widened. "You take, people." The being didn't answer. Instead, it stepped aside and let her see through the doorway. Her stomach twisted. Rows of transparent pods lined the corridor outside. Inside each pod, humans lay still, asleep, or unconscious. Men, women, children. Their faces pale, their bodies trapped in glowing blue liquid. Lisa's heart stopped when she recognized one of the faces. It wasn't Ethan, but a little girl she knew from town, the daughter of a patient she once treated at the clinic. Lisa gasped. "You're taking children." The being tilted its head again, unblinking. "They are necessary. Young ones adapt faster. Stronger minds. We learn through them." Lisa's stomach turned. She struggled against the bands again, fury burning in her chest. "You can't do this. They have families. They're just kids." The voice was calm, cold, without emotion. "We do not see as you do. Sacrifice is survival. You will understand. Lisa felt fire in her chest. No, she spat. I will never understand. For the first time, the being leaned closer. Its glowing eyes bored into hers. She felt something press against her mind, like fingers digging into her thoughts. Flashes of her life, her childhood, her first day at the clinic, her mother's face, Ethan's smile all raced across her vision. She screamed. Stop. The being pulled back, silent. Then, without another word, it left the room. The door slid shut. Lisa lay shaking, sweat on her forehead, her heart racing. She tried to breathe, tried to think. She wasn't dead. She wasn't in heaven or hell. She was alive, on an alien ship. And she wasn't alone. Hours or maybe days passed. Time felt strange here. Lisa finally managed to loosen one glowing band on her wrist by twisting it against the edge of the bed. It flickered, then vanished. She worked on the other restraints until she was free. Her legs shook as she stood, but determination gave her strength. She stepped into the hallway. The air buzzed with faint vibrations, as if the entire ship was alive. She kept her back to the wall, moving quietly. She passed rows of pods. Faces floated behind the glass, peaceful but trapped. She pressed her hand to one of them. The girl inside didn't move. Lisa whispered, I'll get you out. I promise. Then her eyes froze on a screen at the end of the hall. Symbols moved across it, and for a moment she didn't understand. But then an image appeared: Ethan. His face, smiling, recorded from the street. A red mark circled his photo. Lisa's breath caught in her throat. They were planning to come back for him. Her fear turned to fire. She could not let them take Ethan or any more children. She had to find a way out. She had to warn Earth. But the ship was endless. Corridors twisted like a maze. Strange lights flickered, and alien shadows moved in the distance. Lisa ducked behind pods and pillars whenever the tall silver beings passed. Each step, each breath, her mind screamed, don't get caught. Finally, she reached a chamber filled with windows. And outside, through the glass, she saw something that stole her words. The Earth. Blue and white, floating far below. Home. So close, yet impossible to reach. Tears burned her eyes, but her jaw tightened. If she couldn't escape now, she would find another way. She would fight. She would not give up. Not while children were in danger. And not while Ethan still needed her. Lisa Carter stood in the viewing chamber, staring at Earth. The blue planet floated far below, shining against the endless black of space. Home was right there, so close she could almost touch it. But she was trapped in a ship filled with beings that saw humans as nothing more than test subjects. Her hands shook, but her mind was sharp. She couldn't give in to fear. Not now. Not when Ethan's picture had been marked on their screen. They were coming for him next. She whispered to herself, I have to stop them. I have to get out. Lisa turned away from the window and studied the chamber. Strange panels lined the walls, glowing with shifting lights. Symbols flickered across them, changing faster than she could follow. At the center of the room stood a tall pillar of energy, humming softly. She guessed it was some kind of control system. She touched the panel. At once, the surface rippled like water. Images flashed: Earth, the desert, Fallon. Her heart skipped. They had been watching the town for a long time. Lisa pulled her hand back. She needed help, and she needed it fast. She moved through the corridors, staying low whenever she heard the heavy steps of the silver beings. Their bodies gave off a faint glow, and the air grew colder whenever they passed. Lisa held her breath, pressing herself against the wall until the danger was gone. Finally, she found a smaller chamber. Rows of pods glowed faintly inside. Humans floated in blue liquid, their eyes closed, their bodies still. Lisa stepped closer. She placed her hand against the glass of one pod. A man inside looked no older than 20. His chest rose and fell slowly, as if in deep sleep. Lisa whispered, "Wake up, please." But he didn't move. She walked past more pods until she spotted a boy no older than 12. His face was peaceful, but the sight made her heart twist. Children. So many children. Her jaw tightened. I can't leave them here. Lisa searched the chamber and noticed a panel near the pods. Unlike the others, this one had simple glowing circles. She pressed one at random. The pod hissed, and the liquid inside began to drain. Her eyes widened. The boy inside stirred, his eyelids fluttering. Lisa banged on the glass. Wake up. You're safe now. The pod opened with a sharp hiss. The boy fell into her arms, coughing and shivering. His lips trembled. Where am I? Lisa held him close. Not Earth. But listen, we don't have much time. We have to move, okay? The boy nodded weakly. They slipped out of the chamber, but alarms suddenly blared through the ship. The walls flashed red. A deep vibration shook the floor beneath their feet. The silver beings were alerted. Lisa grabbed the boy's hand. Run. The corridor ahead split in 3 directions. She picked the middle one, heart racing. Behind them, heavy steps pounded the floor. The glowing figures were coming. She spotted another door and pushed it open. Inside was a control room filled with alien devices. At the far side, a swirling circle of blue energy stood tall. It pulsed like a heartbeat. A portal. Lisa's eyes widened. Maybe, just maybe, it was a way back to Earth. She pulled the boy forward. Go. Run into the light. The boy hesitated, his eyes wide with fear. But Lisa pushed him gently. It's okay. You'll be safe. Go. He stepped into the circle. At once, his body dissolved into light and vanished. Lisa exhaled with relief. One child was safe. One life saved. But before she could follow, shadows filled the doorway. 3 silver beings entered, their glowing eyes fixed on her. They spread out, blocking her escape. Their voices echoed in her mind, cold and sharp. You cannot leave. You belong to us now. Lisa's fists clenched. Her heart hammered, but fire burned in her chest. No, I belong to Earth. She grabbed a metal rod from the control desk and swung it at the nearest being. It struck the creature's side, sparking against its glowing shield. The alien staggered, but didn't fall. Another one reached for her, its long fingers stretching toward her arm. Lisa ducked under its grasp and kicked it hard in the leg. It stumbled, but quickly straightened again. Her mind screamed, I can't beat them. I just have to escape. She turned toward the portal, ready to leap. But a blinding blue net of energy shot out from the wall, wrapping around her body. She screamed as it tightened, pulling her back. The aliens' voices echoed together. You will not leave. You will learn. You will serve. Lisa fought against the net, her body shaking, her muscles burning. The portal pulsed just a few feet away, glowing like freedom. Let me go, she screamed. For a split second, the net flickered. She thought she might break free. But the energy surged stronger, dragging her away from the portal. The last thing she saw before darkness swallowed her was the swirling blue circle closing. Her chance to escape gone. Back on Earth, in the desert outside Fallon, the rescued boy appeared in a flash of light. He collapsed onto the sand, coughing, but alive. Sheriff Daniel and Ethan's family rushed to him. Their eyes filled with shock and fear. The boy looked up weakly. His voice trembled as he whispered the name of the woman who saved him. Lisa. Lisa Carter. Somewhere in the cold halls of the ship, Lisa lay trapped again, her body bound by glowing restraints. She had saved one life. But she was still a prisoner. And the aliens had no intention of letting her go. The desert was silent the night the boy appeared. One moment the sand was empty, and the next, a flash of blue light split the darkness. When it faded, the boy lay there weak, coughing, but alive. Sheriff Daniel Brooks dropped to his knees beside him. The boy's skin was cold, his eyes wide with fear. Daniel lifted him gently and whispered, "You're safe now. You're back on Earth." The boy trembled. His lips moved, forming only one name. Lisa. Lisa Carter. Daniel's chest tightened. He wrapped his coat around the boy and carried him toward the waiting ambulance. As the lights faded into the distance, Daniel stared at the sky. He knew Lisa had done this. She had saved one more child. But where was she now? Far above Earth, inside the alien vessel, Lisa opened her eyes again. Her arms were locked in glowing bands, her body weak from the struggle. She had been thrown into a dark chamber with no windows, no sound but the steady hum of the ship. Her heart ached. She had been so close to freedom, so close to stepping through the portal. She had wanted to go home, to hug Ethan, to tell him everything was all right. But instead, she was here, chained in silence. She closed her eyes, whispering to herself, "At least I saved one." But deep down, she knew it wasn't enough. The ship still held children, still planned to take more. Ethan was still marked. She couldn't give up. Hours passed, or maybe days. Time blurred inside the alien ship. Then, the door opened. The tall silver being stepped inside, its glowing eyes fixed on her. Its voice pressed into her mind. "You resist. You fight. Why?" Lisa lifted her head. Her voice was hoarse, but steady. "Because they're children. Because they're innocent. Because they matter." The being tilted its head. "Sacrifice creates survival. Your people are weak. You cling to individuals. We see the whole." Lisa glared at it, fire burning in her chest. "You don't understand. A single life can change everything. A child can change the world." The being studied her in silence. Then it turned and left, as if her words meant nothing. But deep inside, Lisa felt something. For a brief moment, the creature had hesitated. Back on Earth, the rescued boy told his story. Reporters swarmed Fallon again, demanding answers. But this time, the government acted faster. They surrounded the hospital, moved the boy to a secure location, and silenced anyone who had seen him appear. Daniel Brooks tried to fight back, but he was only one man. He kept the truth hidden in his own files, locked away where no one could take it. Still, whispers spread. People said Lisa was alive. People said she was somewhere beyond the stars, still fighting. And Ethan, he believed it with all his heart. Every night, he looked out his window at the sky and whispered, "Come back, Lisa. Please come back." Inside the ship, Lisa planned her next move. She could not escape, not yet. But she could wait. She could learn. She could fight in ways the aliens didn't expect. She whispered to herself, steady and strong, "I will not vanish. I will not break. I am still here." Her words echoed in the silence, a promise to herself, to Ethan, and to every child still trapped. Years later, Fallon remembered Lisa Carter as a hero. Statues were built. Schools told her story. The government called it an unexplained disappearance, but the people knew better. They lit candles every year on the night she vanished. They told their children, and their children told theirs. Ethan grew up strong, carrying Lisa's memory like a flame. He told anyone who would listen, "She saved me. She gave everything for me. And she's still out there, I know it. And somewhere, far beyond Earth, in the endless sea of stars, Lisa Carter's eyes still burned with fire. She was a prisoner, yes. But she was also a fighter. And fighters never stop. Her story became more than just a tale of one woman. It became a legend, a reminder that even in the darkest corners of the universe, courage can shine brighter than fear. Because she risked her life to save a child. And though she vanished into history, her legend lived on.